Am I the idiot for getting my aunt and uncle kicked out of their house for not letting my husband and I sleep together? I, 27, male, and am married to a man, 28, male. He is the love of my life. I had only ever dated women before him, but when I met him I realized I was bi, and we fell in love. We got married in the fall of 2018, so it's been almost 4 years. We now live in Vermont. My whole family is from a small town in Texas, a super conservative Catholic area. I was raised there, but Dad got a job in NYC when I was 15. The culture shock was difficult. We went from living in rural Texas to living in an apartment in Manhattan. My parents didn't sell our house in TX. They allowed our aunt and uncle, who just had their third child, to move in while charging them a small rent. In college, when I came out as bi, my brother and dad were very supportive. My mom needed some time to accept. The rest of my family reacted poorly at first but came around. During visits we stayed with my aunt and uncle at my old house, but because we weren't married we weren't allowed to share a bed. We didn't argue, we both would rather make peace. Visiting, since instead of staying with my aunt and uncle we would rent a motel room. During COVID we did not visit them. But this summer, my parents and bro decided to go visit my hometown again for 2 weeks and invited my husband and I. I wanted a motel again, but my aunt and uncle insisted my brother, husband, and I stay with them. The first night sleeping situation was being discussed after my cousins went to bed. My aunt and uncle wanted me and bro to take the spare bedroom, husband on the couch. All three of us took issue with that. They snapped that we were not really married because we were gay, and that they had children in the house. They said that it would be a bad influence on their kids. This hurt my husband's feelings and he started crying and ran out of the room. When my husband ran out, my uncle had the audacity to start laughing. That's when I saw red. I started cussing them out so loudly that my young cousins came to investigate. I told them that if they didn't apologize to my husband immediately, then I was going to tell my dad what just happened, and I was going to make sure to have them kicked out of the house that was still in my parents' name. My bro seconded everything that I was saying. They started backtracking and saying that we were still welcome in their house but that we had to follow their rules. I responded that it wasn't really their house. I told them they were going to be homeless if I had my way. The kids started crying cause they heard me say they were all going to be homeless. So we left. My husband was on the porch crying. I promised him that I would never subject him to that again. I told Dad what happens. To say that my dad was angry would be an understatement. He served them a notice of eviction for 60 days. I have been getting calls and texts and Facebook messages from my family calling me aw. I want to know, am I an idiot for allowing my young cousins to end up homeless? Is it fair that they have to pay for what my aunt and uncle said to me and my husband? Update, hey y'all, my husband and I want to thank everyone for the overwhelming amount of support and love. We have updates to people asking where my mom is in all of this. She's now supportive of my husband and I's relationship. She agrees that I gave aunt and uncle a chance to apologize and they didn't. I could tell my dad was not telling me the whole story about the eviction, so I pressed my mom and found out the truth 3 days ago. I've been having a hard time with it. The day I told him, my dad reached out to my aunt and uncle, and not only did they show no remorse, they said that they didn't want their kids to be FGOTs because of us. Yeah, they really said that. He asked why they would invite us to stay with them if this is how they truly felt. This is where it gets bad. To them, it's one thing if we are living in Vermont being gay. It's another thing if we visit my hometown throwing our lifestyle in everyone's faces by shacking up at the motel. The local motel owner, whose family owns it and is a childhood friend of my mom's, gossiped about us every time we were there. She was nice to our face, but behind our backs, a different story. Because everyone knows each other, we would become the talk of the town when we stayed there, and we had no idea. We wouldn't have tolerated it if we had. We never stayed long for visits because we could sense something was off, but pushed the feeling aside because to our faces they were nice. These are people that know me, that claim to love me. Mom said my aunt and uncle were trying to save face with the rest of the town and try to control our behavior at the same time while we were there. Before evicting, my dad asked Mom to reach out to this gossiping friend. According to the friend, and you were a major part of the poop talk. No one ever said anything to my face. I feel so disgusted and betrayed and naive. This enraged my dad, so he decided to evict them. He told them that they can freeload somewhere else and he will never accept anyone as family that would treat his sons that way. Mom says he's gone no contact with them. Mom told me that he thinks of my brother, husband, and I as his pride and joy. I feel so proud that I have a dad like him. I mentioned that he is my hero. This is just the icing on the cake. He has always been my #1 supporter, and he told me when I came out as bi that he would always have my back. He kept that promise. My dad doesn't know he's internet famous. I still don't know how to break it to him, lol. He's a humble guy. Dad doesn't use social media, so we're safe for now. My bro knows about this post and we've been trying to figure out a plan of action. We've been contacted by journalists. We've gotten so many loving messages. But at the end of the day, I'm just an average guy still trying to process the fact that I got betrayed on a scale that I can't even comprehend. For those saying we are off for letting my cousins go homeless, I can confidently say now that they only have their parents to thank for that. Everyone sucks here. Yes, what they did was wrong, but they have that right. You were their guest and needed to adhere to the rules of their house. Also, your dad sounds like a real piece of work, not an idiot. They insisted a hotel was not needed and then decided to disregard your marriage. The whole not married so separate rooms thing was clearly an excuse before as well. It's entirely your father's decision who to let the house to, and you're within your rights to tell him what happened. Just because he reacted as you expected him to doesn't make you an idiot. Am I the idiot for leaving my disabled boyfriend? I, female 25, have been with my boyfriend, male 25, since we were 19. When we were 23, he was injured in a skiing accident. His injuries were so severe that he was paralyzed from the neck down and he has been semi-comatose ever since. Other than that, he can do very little. He is no longer there. His body is essentially functioning on autopilot. There are more medical issues, but I do not want to divulge his private information any more than I have to. We were planning to get married. I still love him very much. Since his accident, he has lived at the hospital and then with his parents. We lived together, but our 5th floor apartment was not suitable for his needs and I work too much to care for him. His parents live 90 minutes out from our city. I visit 4 to 5 times a week, sometimes more if I can. It's been a point of contention between his mother and myself that I do not visit every day. I literally cannot do this with the hours I work, and I am scared I will get in a road traffic accident driving in the dark and icy conditions. We live in a very snowy, icy state. His family basically lives on a mountain and runs a skiing resort, so the roads are terrifying. I work in a small and intensely competitive field. The salary I am on right now is fine for the city I live in, a major US city, but I could be earning almost double if I relocate. I've been offered an amazing job across the country. I really want to take it. When I told his mother about how I was considering this job, she lost it. She told me I was an awful person to consider moving away from him. She said I was betraying him by abandoning him and moving on. I told her that I couldn't just stop living because of what happened. She started screaming at me. I am empathetic because I understand that she feels as though the world is moving on without him. I feel that way too. I am very conflicted. I am unsure if it is wrong to do this. Me and my boyfriend had promised we would marry each other. I do feel like I am abandoning him. Would I be the idiot for taking the job? Update. I just would like to update anyone who left a kind comment and might stumble upon the update. That post and the comments and chats I received have pushed me to accept the job. I moved cities on January 9th, and I started my job on January 16th. This is all happening very quickly, but I have realized that I do need to put myself first, and I am not an idiot for living my life, despite it being incredibly painful. My boyfriend's mother does not agree. She is no longer speaking to me. I am not allowed to see my boyfriend, who I guess is no longer my boyfriend and hasn't been for 2 years. I knew this would happen, so I said goodbye to him before I told her. I do not want to repeat what she said to me, however it was awful. She says I ruined Christmas because I made the decision on the 23rd, but she knew this was possible and it was a time-sensitive offer. As one commenter said, it was never going to be a good time to do this. On the plus side, her hating me has made it so that I have to leave for this job. I have no ties here anymore. I may be the idiot in her eyes, but this is what I need. I am having fleeting moments of regret, but my family and therapist have said that in the 5 days since making this decision, I seem lighter. I am excited for this new chapter. Thank you again for the kind comments. You're an idiot. You left your disabled partner for a paycheck. It's as simple as that. Now you're looking for validation for your materialistic preferences. There's nothing wrong with that, but own who you are, which is an idiot, not an idiot. You did the right thing. She is lashing out, not because of what you did, but because of how unfair life is. Whether you choose to forgive or not, she will need more time. Go, live your life. Go places and have adventures. I wish you a future love when you're ready, if that's your want. You know that was what he would have wanted for you, if he could make his wishes known. Was she selfish for leaving her boyfriend? Let me know in the comments. Now, am I the idiot for not wanting to get rid of my dog for my pregnant sister? So my, male 15, dad died not that long ago. It'll be 6 months next week. My mom moved us out of our house cause she said it hurt her too much to be there, and now we're living in this new house for 2 months now and I hate it. Last month my 20-year sister told us she's pregnant, so now her and my mom are getting ready for a baby in the house. TBH, I'm not really excited like them, but I thought whatever. Until yesterday, my sister told me I have to get rid of my dog before the baby comes. I asked her why and she said because dogs are bad for pregnant women and newborns babies because they carry germs and parasites. I told her that's not true. I always bathe my dog. He has all his shots and we take him to the vet regularly. He's also been around lots of babies before and he's super friendly to them, so he can't be a danger to her baby. My sister got mad, so she got my mom involved. She told my mom I was being a brat and that I don't care that I'm poisoning her baby. I told my mom I didn't want to get rid of my dog. My dad bought him for me as a puppy on my 9th birthday. There's been lots of changes these months. Losing my dad, us moving, and now getting ready for a new baby. My dog is the last connection to my dad. My mom is not home much, neither is my sister, so I feel like all I have is my dog. I explained to my mom why I don't want to get rid of him. She said she understands he's important to me, but I need to stop thinking about myself and consider my baby niece or nephew. I said I don't even believe my dog is bad for my sister's pregnancy. She never liked him since Dad bought him, and I feel like she's using this to get him out of our house. My mom said she isn't gonna force me to get rid of him and she'll leave it up to me. My sister's been mad at me since and keeps making comments about how she hopes me taking my sweet time deciding what to do won't damage her baby. They both expect me to do the right thing, but I don't know if I want to. Does that make me bad? Am I an idiot because I want to keep my dog? To note, my dog avoids my sister because she treats him badly if he's close, so it's not like he'll be all over her. Update. I read lots of people's comments to this and I was really happy to know that I wasn't hurting my sister or her baby by having my dog around. A lot of you sent me some good info. I decided to show what some of you commented to my mom, and sis is proof that my dog isn't bad since she was so worried. Also told my mom I'm not gonna get rid of my dog because he means too much to me and that would hurt him too. My mom agreed with me more after showing her the info and said my dog doesn't have to go anywhere. My sister seemed more mad after, not just because of the info but because I told a bunch of strangers our business. She didn't see the post though. My sister still kept pushing to get rid of him because she doesn't want to be around him while she's living there. My mom and her ended up having a big fight over it. There was lots of yelling and arguing for days until finally my sister said she's leaving unless we get rid of him. She said it like a threat, I guess, because she thought that would make my mom make me give him away. My mom didn't want her to leave, but that's what she ended up doing because I wouldn't give up my dog. For months it's been like this. She moved in with one of her best friends, I think, but she doesn't want to talk to my mom at all. For a long time my mom was even more sad, and that actually made me start to feel guilty again because it seemed like this was all my fault. Things weren't good for a while. My mom was talking to me less and felt like we were strangers living together instead of family. But she said it wasn't my fault what happened, so it's not that she was mad at me for my sister leaving. She was just sad about everything, and that made her not talk or be around me. Finally, after months, Mom and I are talking better again and she's actually spending a little more time with me. It's still not the same anymore though. My sister still hasn't called us and Ike when she's due, but it should be really soon. Everything didn't happen the way I hoped it would, but I'm happy to still have my dog around. He helped me deal with everything. Thank you everyone for showing me I made the right decision keeping him. You guys made it easier to give them all this info about how wrong my sister was about dogs affecting pregnancy, and showed me I wasn't doing anything bad for wanting to keep the last connection I have to my dad. He's still here by my side and I'm grateful for all the support. You're an idiot. A dog's life is worth less than a human life, and there's no two ways about it. You are being an awful person for upsetting a pregnant woman. You could be the reason she has a miscarriage. Your dad died and that's awful, but that doesn't mean the world revolves around you. Not an idiot. I'm so happy you didn't give up the dog. As someone who has 2 kids so far, and dogs, they are not a danger to pregnant women or babies if handled correctly. She just wanted an excuse to get rid of the dog, and she's throwing a tantrum because she didn't get her way.